G'day, welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. My name's Matt, but you will know me as WFX Malice. In today's video, we're going to be doing a keyboard replacement on a Lenovo Yoga 530 laptop. Now, I couldn't find a decent video online that showed this process from start to finish, and that's because of the complexity of getting these things apart. Now, tools you're going to need is a T5 Torx screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, and a couple of plastic pry tools or guitar picks in this instance. On top of that, you're also going to need a soldering iron or a plastic welding kit. Yes, there's a little bit of plastic welding to do on the inside of this. We'll get to that in a minute. Go ahead and remove the 10 T5 Torx screws from the back casing, and using your pry tool or guitar picks in this case, work your way around the outside, just making sure you get all of those plastic clips loosened off. Pay particular attention to where the screen hinges are. Once you've got most of those undone, you can start to lift it up, and if it doesn't come right apart, just pop another pry tool in the back there and just make sure you've got all those last clips there. You shouldn't need to use excessive force to pull this casing apart. It should pop right apart nice and easy. Once you've got the case off, go ahead and remove the 4 screws for the battery. Before you go and yank the battery out, just unclip the little plug there for the battery wires. Once we've got the battery out, we'll go ahead and remove the Wi-Fi card, so 1 small screw there and the 2 little wires for the Wi-Fi antenna. Just take note of which color wire goes where, so when you put it back together it will work correctly. Now, there's quite a few screws here we need to remove, and that's because we have to take the motherboard out. There's also a few plugs, wires and ribbons there that we need to disconnect, so it's worthwhile just taking a photo of everything before you take it apart. That way when you put it back together, it makes things that little bit easier. So pull apart the little plastic shroud. I left the screws for the shroud in it just so they didn't get mixed up with the rest. Remove the screws for the fan and then work your way around the motherboard. Just being very careful not to remove screws you don't need to get the motherboard out. The fan will come off with the motherboard, so you don't need to disconnect the cable for it. You don't need to get any of the screws apart to take that off of the assembly. Go ahead and remove those ribbons and cables where you can, just being careful because these things are stuck down to the casing. So you can see there I'm using my plastic pry tool just to carefully lever underneath them, just so we don't tear the ribbons when we go to remove them. Once we're done removing all those ribbons and cables, we're going to go ahead and remove the USB card off to the side there. It is only 1 screw on the actual board and the rest are in the hinge, so you'll have to remove the hinge there and just lift the hinge up. You don't need to take the screen off, you don't need to go that far, just removing those screws and just lifting the hinge up will do just fine. Once we've got this last screw off, we can just go and carefully lift the motherboard out. Once again, don't want to use too much pressure, we just want to lift it up so we can dislodge the air duct and also the USB ports. Just remember to lift that hinge up just to give you enough clearance. We don't need to tear it right up, we don't need to open it all the way, just enough to get the motherboard out's fine. Now here comes the tricky part. Now this is where you're going to need to get yourself a plastic welding kit or a soldering iron, because underneath this motherboard is a lot of plastic welds. Unfortunately, the Yoga is probably one of the worst architecture in the Lenovo family. Normally this would be screws or clips or something a little more structurally sound, not these little plastic welding rivets. So using a heat gun, just go around, using a soldering iron rather, just go around, work your way all the way right around, and you just want to melt the top off. You don't want to melt right into them because you're going to need to be able to plastic weld back onto these pegs after you've disassembled it. Now you can see when I first started I was a little bit shaky, I was making a little bit of a mess, but once you get a rhythm in, you can literally just keep buzzing from spot to spot and just wipe off any excess. Try and save that excess because you may want to use that afterwards to reassemble. Of course, if you have got a plastic welding kit, you're probably going to have some plastic welding rod, in which case it's going to make this process a little bit easier. This process took me about 15 to 20 minutes to give you a bit of a guide. Just like I said, carefully just work your way around systematically. You will get a process in play and it will make things a lot easier. This is probably the hardest part of the job right here. If you're looking at this right now thinking, this is a little bit daunting, this is probably a little bit beyond my skill, send it away to a repair station, send it back to the manufacturer. Don't delve into something you're not going to be able to complete. However, I didn't find that this difficult. It was mainly just a little bit time consuming and tedious. Once you've removed all those plastic welds, you can go ahead and use a flat tip screwdriver. There's not any sensitive electronics here, and we're going to be replacing the keyboard which is underneath it, so I wasn't too fussed about damaging anything under there. It's literally just a metal shield with a keyboard underneath it. So carefully work your way around. You don't want to bend this shield, you don't want to buckle it, but if you just work your way around, you'll hear them slowly clicking out as you work your way through. Once you've got enough done, you can just sort of just pry it with your hands from one end and lift it up, and you'll hear it start to release. Once that's lifted off, just have a look along the keyboard and see if there is any other plastic welds on there that you need to remove. Most of them you could get through from the other side. There wasn't too many there. I think there's probably about 5 or 6. It's not a big job from here. You're pretty much on the home stretch. Now you will notice that there is an additional ribbon cable on this keyboard as opposed to the one I replace it with, and that's because when the customer placed the order for the keyboard, they didn't believe theirs was backlit. And yeah, that extra cable is for the backlit. Now, you can opt to go for the non-backlit keyboard on this laptop and it will still work fine. So there was no issues, no functions lost or anything along those lines. So if you don't want to pay the extra money for the backlit keyboard, just get the standard one. Now, to get the keyboard back in, I'm just going along and doing some re-soldering or re-plastic welding of those little pegs. Some of them are poking through quite nicely, which is going to allow the keyboard to hang on. Now, you definitely want to put some plastic welding back on here. I did see something on the internet where they just said place it all back together, put the heat shield on, and then screw the motherboard on, and that will hold it all down with pressure. If someone's a little heavy-handed on the keyboard, they may crack the motherboard, in which case causing some major damage to the laptop that won't be repairable. Now, I'm getting the heat shield back on, and what's this? I accidentally put the heat shield over the speaker plug, so just be aware of that. I did manage to get it out later on, but it's just something to be cautious of while you're putting this together. Now I'm using some of the leftover excess plastic weld from the removal just to go back and try and put some of the key points back on some of the corners where structural integrity may be required. So I didn't go and do every single plastic solder joint, but I did go and put a few back in where I could. So I think I got about 10 or 12 in total as opposed to the probably 20 or 30 that we removed. If you do have some plastic welding rod, go ahead and use that. That definitely will help. As you can see, I'm just sort of salvaging whatever I can, where I can, just using a screwdriver to hold it in place while I melt it and then create a little rivet top. Seemed to work fine, so I'm happy with that result. Once we've finished the plastic welding and you're happy with that, go ahead and line up the motherboard and then tilt it back up towards you, and then line up that air cooler for the fan. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and start putting all the screws back in just to hold it down. Just be careful that on the hinge there is screws there that are actually supposed to be from the outside, so just perhaps have a look at the bottom cover and make sure that you're not putting screws in before you place the cover on. Trap for young players. You can go ahead and put the ducting on there and pop the screws in for that. Make sure you tuck those Wi-Fi antenna cables back in around the fan shroud, and then we can go ahead and start the fold on the ribbon cable for the keyboard. You'll notice that it's designed for multiple different Lenovo laptops, so make sure you do use the right fold lines, otherwise it just won't fit, it won't line up, you'll have cable everywhere. There is some 3M tape on the inside, so once you do line it all up and you've got the fold, go ahead and hook it up to the connector and then go and make that fold permanent so it stays in place. You'll have a nice neat result. You don't need to use all of the 3M tape, there's obviously a lot there because, as I said, this keyboard is designed for many different laptops. Go ahead and put the Wi-Fi card back in. I didn't screw the Wi-Fi card back in just right now because I had to do a process of elimination of screws because I did make a little bit of a mess with the pile of screws I had. So once I did that, I managed to go ahead and screw that in and put those antenna cables back on, making sure you're using the right color on the right cord. Go ahead and put that remote USB cable on and make sure that you get the screws in for that on the hinge. As I said, just be careful not to use the screw hole for the outer case, otherwise you won't be able to put all the screws back in the outer case when you get to that stage. Once we've got that all together, we can go ahead and put the battery in, put the plug in, and then go ahead and put the 4 screws in. Just makes it a little bit easier so you don't accidentally crimp the cable down somewhere and prevent you from being able to plug it in. Those 4 screws back in and we're almost done. Here's where I did a final inspection and oops, there's that cable. So yeah, I did manage to dig that out. Didn't do any damage, thankfully, and it just clipped straight back on. Always good to do a last minute check. Just soft clip on that back case so you can turn it over and give the laptop a quick test before you go and screw everything back together. Now here's a pro tip. If your screwdrivers aren't magnetic, you can go and put a rare earth magnet on the shaft of the screwdriver and that will help your screws all stick to it. I got that rare earth magnet out the inside of an old hard drive. Well, I hope you've learned something here. Leave your comments down below. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you give it a like. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.